What is up, YouTube, and welcome again to another episode of Behind the Wall presented by Perky Jerky. That is Behind the Wall. We came up with that a year and a half ago, not Bubba Wallace, okay? So his little Facebook whatever series, you owe us money, okay? Just saying. But we'll get into that another time. I'm here with the usual cast of characters, Thermite 917 and KN Junior 88. So we're here to talk about the Pennzoil 400 that happened and the Las Vegas racing weekend. We had a triple header. Yeah, so let's get right into it. Nick, race recap, Pennzoil 400.
Yeah, so 37 cars started, another low number for the Cup Series. Ryan Blaney got the pole. He led lap 1, but then Harvick took over and dominated stage 1. There were no incidents. Everyone split the stage in half. It was an 80-lap stage. They pitted around lap 40 to break it up. Michael McDowell stayed out a few extra laps to lead, and Jimmy Johnson got lapped pretty early. Stage 2, again, no cautions for incidents, and around lap 105, McDowell, his good run is over. He has a mechanical issue and goes to the garage, and I think he finished last. And again, everyone split the stage in half to pit. Denny Hamlin was speeding for like the millionth time in the past few years, and once again, Harvick dominated and wins stage 2. Stage 3, Joey Logano grabs the lead early, and lap 176, which was about 90 to go, Jamie McMurray blows a tire off turn 2, and that is the first caution for a crash. 84 to go. Shortly after that, Kurt Busch gets really loose on the bottom off of turn 4 and slams into Chase Elliott, knocking both of them out of the race. And then Kevin Harvick grabs the lead back on the following restart and never looks back. They had to go through some final green flag pit stops with around 40 laps to go, and nothing really happened. It was a pretty calm finish. Harvick led 214 laps, and if you include Atlanta, that's been a lot the past 2 weeks. That is also his 100th NASCAR win in the top 3 series, in case you're interested in that. I mean, it's kind of a Kyle Busch kind of stat. He's proud of it. I don't know if Harvick is, but it happened. Overall, there were 6 leaders for 11 lead changes, 4 cautions for 29 laps, and only 9 cars finished on the lead lap. The results, just going through the top 10 real quick. Kevin Harvick was first, obviously. Kyle Busch came up to second. Kyle Larson third. Martin Truex Jr. fourth. Then Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, and Joey Logano fifth, sixth, and seventh. And an interesting fact here, that is the first time ever that 3 Penske cars finished in the top 10 in a Cup race. That's pretty insane for how long they've been in the business. And then Eric Jones with a solid 8th place finish. Same with Paul Menard, 9th, and Eric Almirola, 10th. So not a whole lot happened in this race. Pretty straightforward, pretty average. What did you guys think of it? Race ratings, Tyler, go ahead.
3 out of 10. Wasn't very exciting. Wasn't a whole lot that happened. A little more attrition filled than Atlanta, but that's really not saying much. It just wasn't an exciting race. No fight for the win. There was just only one case where somebody else got the lead. Joe Logano was out front for a little bit, and then, Harvick slightly got shuffled back, but once he got back to the front, again, you really knew there was nothing going to happen. No strategy either. Just nothing to me. It was just a straightforward race, as you've mentioned. You can take that in a good way, a bad way. I see it as dull. It happened, and we'll move on next week. Kane, what's your race rating?
I'm actually going to give it a little better. I'm going to give it about a 5. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm giving it that rating, because, Kevin Harvick whooped everybody's ass. But behind Harvick, there's a lot of passes being made for position. Granted, it wasn't for the lead, but still, having cars passing and running side by side on the track is better than just a big old single-file line going around, am I right? I mean, if that was the case, I would have given it a way lower rating. Obviously, the TV cameras are all focused. Everybody's focused on Harvick or whoever's up in the lead, but you got to remember, there's 36 other drivers fighting for position out there, and I got to say, they did a pretty damn good job of that.
Okay, well, I'm going to split it down the middle and give it a 4. Like Tyler said, not much happened. It was very straightforward, really no strategy, only one real crash in the race. But at the same time, like Kane said, there were cars all over the track, and there was a good bit of passing outside of the lead. So, I mean, it was such an average, just down the middle kind of race. I mean, there's really not much else to it.
All right, our quick topic for the week is going to be about the air gun malfunctions. Now, they added a little bit of a twist this season where their air guns are now basically mandated by NASCAR. You can't just make your own or whatever, or buy from a third-party company or whatever it is. It's directly coming from NASCAR. Now, I don't know if you guys here have actually heard the process of how the pit crew members pick their guns. Apparently, you go through a selection. They give you a couple. You decide which one you want. You take it to NASCAR, and then they give you a case with that gun in it. So it's like your own gun, but from one of their choices. So now, moving forward from that, we've had 3 races in, and there's been a healthy amount of issues with these things. Like the damn air hose is popping off of them. The socket popped off of somebody's today. Jesus, we got an awful lot of problems with these guns just 3 weeks in, and that kind of shit can't be happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's an effort to save costs, and that's great, but then give the teams something that will be reliable. I mean, this is the big leagues. You don't want stuff breaking down every race and costing you positions and points and maybe even wins. It's just, the quality just has to be better. I mean, it's not really excusable. Hopefully, it's just growing pains, and they can figure it out, and it can just keep getting better. But for now, I mean, I don't want this to be the story of the year. I mean, it's kind of a joke right now.
I have to agree. I mean, especially the whole selection process, that's kind of BS. But at the same time, I don't really see this whole airgun rule as a cost-cutting measure. I see it more as an effort to even the playing field. Because last year, when the teams had their own individual airguns, the RPMs were spinning much higher, therefore making the pit stops much faster. This was especially the case at Joe Gibbs Racing. They were always pulling off 11-second pit stops while everybody else was doing 12, 13-second pit stops. And it was a big reason for those was because their air guns were spinning at a higher RPM, and that allowed them to get the lugs off and on much faster. But you got to give these teams a reliable piece of equipment, all right? Because if it just keeps breaking on them, what's NASCAR going to do? Because they're going to really put themselves into a corner with this if this continues.
Yeah, I don't know really what they were doing in the off season. You figured they would have done a little bit of testing. I would assume they would have had to. I mean, come on, you're not just gonna go all of a sudden get some air guns. Just be like, oh, here you go. Hope they work. There's got to be some sort of trial and error, and they'll work it out. Just kind of like the reduction of one pit crew member. Teams are gonna perfect it, and I'm sure NASCAR will find a way to make their air guns stable. Again, they are pieces of equipment. They will break from time to time, but there shouldn't be that many failures in this short amount of time. So, whatever, NASCAR. They probably made in fucking Taiwan or something. Pieces of shit.
Goddamn piece of shit.
Damn air guns made overseas. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on. The trucks race in Las Vegas this week. You know damn well what that means. Where did Cody Coughlin finish? Big old turkey clam, he finished in 8th. So you guys know what that means? It's our 4th annual Jag Celebration! Jags!
Jags!
Cody Coughlin with his 4th career top 10. First at GMS in only 3 starts. It took that dumb son of a bitch 24 starts to get his first career top 10, but now he's got 4 of them to his name, and we are so proud. He started the race in 14th, collected some stage points. Hell, even beforehand, he was hanging out with Donnie Osmond, who was also on his pit box. Maybe Donnie was a little bit of a lucky charm for him. Maybe he sang him a carol. We don't know. But Donnie was there, and Cody was happy, and that makes us happy. So let's hear what he had to say. Our 8th place finish was a good step in the right direction for our number 2 Jags Chevrolet Silverado team. He ran extremely well and contended in the top 3 for most of the night. A bit of tough luck got us out of pit sequence, and we had to come battle back in 8th in the closing laps. Gary and the Jags team have done a great job of working the number 2 Jags Chevrolet Silverado just right, and GMS Racing has proven to be a great team to drive for. Oh, Cody, I could easily tell that was written by you. That's Cody Coughlin form right there. But, yeah, you did a good job tonight. And that's right, I forgot to mention. You were up in the top 3 a little bit. You surprised. We're just happy, man. I can't go anywhere around it. We're just super pumped. Jegzabration. Cake's in the break room. By the time we get there, 3/4 of it will be gone, but that's okay. I mean, you got to get them calories, right, Cody? Great job, buddy. Jags!
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 Okay, now it's time to hand out some awards for the Las Vegas race weekend. And kicking it off with the classic Boner of the Week, we have multiple. And the first one goes to a guy in a truck series. Nick, who was it?
It was Michel Disdier from, we presume, France, from Formula 1. And who are you? He's come out of nowhere and he ruins Brett Moffat's day. He's a slow-ass lap truck and just comes down on him like he wasn't even there. These lap trucks need to pick up the pace. I don't even know what their minimum speed was in that one, but it was not very high. Just totally... I mean, it didn't ruin Moffat's day, but it pretty much cost him a shot at the win. Fortunately, he still came back. But, I mean, come on! I guess he spilled his macchiato. Next, Boner.
Oh, man. And the Boner, I don't know if you can really top that one, but this was still pretty bad in the Xfinity race. Dylan Lupton, 5 laps into the race, just turns down on Ryan Sieg on the front stretch and wrecks himself and hits a very awkward spot, bounces off the inside wall at the end of pit road. What the hell was that? Dylan Lupton, Jesus, what a boner of a move. Something totally avoidable. Damn, use your fucking head. And we got another boner, man. Kane, give us the boner.
Well, this one is from the Cup Series. Yep, one boner from each series. And this week, it goes to Kurt Busch. Just past lap 183 in the Cup race, Kurt got loose coming out of turn number 4, overcorrected, and just completely smashed into Chase Elliott, ending both of their days relatively early. As you could imagine, Kurt was pretty distraught over the incident in his post-race interview. He ruined it for his guys, ruined it for Chase's guys. It was like he and Chase swapped attitudes or something, because usually Chase is the one that's pretty damn hard on himself, but this week it was Kurt, man. Still, man, that was just such an ugly overcorrect. Dude, you've been doing this since 2001, man. You'd think you'd know how to save a car line now. I mean, now your brother's done it numerous times. Why can't you, Kurt? Sheesh. Next award.
The next award is another classic. It's the
Straight Jacket Award!
And it goes to Justin Haley in the Truck Series, who backed her in the fence. That's what the boy-girl does. That's one of his favorite pastimes, obviously, both off and on the track. And after that, he chucked some debris out of his truck. I don't know quite what it was, but he did because he needed to extend the caution a little bit to give his team some more time to fix his trucky. And NASCAR saw right through that bullshit and parked his ass. Justin, you must be freaking crazy if you thought you were going to get away with that. Use your head, dipshit. Maybe you could have got another damn caution. You know, come on. Think. Jesus, Justin. Next award.
Next award is Austin Spindrick, and that goes to, obviously, Austin Cindric. He's not having a great year so far. He wrecked again in the Xfinity race and finished 34th. And, by the way, a big thanks to Xfinity Racing's Twitter account for the new nickname for him. I hope that sticks because, man, he's out of control. He's fast, but he doesn't really know what to do with it, kind of like Kane in our league races. But anyway.
Good one.
Thank you. He got loose under a lap car and just lost it and smashed into the inside wall. I mean, come on. You know, the only thing you should really be smashing into is Tyler's car. I mean, that's
a good one.
I took a jab at both of you and won an award. That's pretty good.
It's fun to point out now that it's 2 for 2 that Austin Cindric has wrecked in Roush Fenway's number 60 car.
Spindrick, bitch!
Spindrick, bitch!
Next award.
And our next award, once again, it's the Day from Hell! And this week, it goes once again to another Hendrick Motorsports driver. Not the whole team, just one driver, and that driver is William Byron. Oh, man, what a rough race for the rookie. He finished 27th, 3 laps down to Kevin Harvick. Now, I'm not going to blame William for this. I'm blaming Hendrick and their shitty-ass performance lately on that. Next award.
The next award is That Ass Kicking We Talked About, Part 2. And that goes, obviously, to Kevin Harvick. 2nd week in a row. He kicked everybody's ass. He delivered the said ass kicking. Good Lord. out of nowhere. Kevin only had 2 wins all of last year, one of them being on a road course. Now he's got 2 wins in the first 3 races, back-to-back victories, going to Phoenix, a place where he's won like 800 times. He's on a roll right now, and the Fords as a package. So now their ass kicking probably won't be the last time we see that this year. And the next award, which is some more classics, cigars. We got a couple of them to hand out. Nick, who's the first one in the Truck Series?
Well, the first one, we already talked about him. It goes to Brett Moffitt. As we mentioned, Michel Disdier was too busy watching the Highlander instead of where he was going on the track and ran into Brett Moffitt. But fortunately, Moffitt was able to recover in the number 16 Hattori Enterprises Toyota. Came home with a 3rd place finish. So that's 2 impressive races in a row. I mean, this guy, man, he's already in the playoffs. He's got some good runs going. We'll see if he can be a championship threat. Who knows? And we have another cigar. This is for Xfinity. Take it away.
That goes to Brandon Jones, surprisingly. I know. I'm going to pause a moment to think about that. That's right. The no-talent ass clown actually gets a cigar. He finished 7th. He drove a solid race. A little bit up and down, kind of shaky a bit, but he got his shit together. And he toyed with Kyle Busch several times throughout the race, and we're going to get to that in a few moments. But solid drive, dude. But I'm sure you'll be back to wrecking before long. So we won't over-exaggerate it too much. We have a final cigar. Who is it, King?
That cigar goes to Jimmy Johnson. Now, that sounds weird because Jimmy Johnson should be running up front every week, but this season has been one epic struggle for the 48 team. He finished 38th at Daytona, 27th at Atlanta, but this week in Vegas, he was actually the highest finishing Hendrick car in 12th after he started at the rear of the field, got lapped early, almost went 2 laps down, had to work hard just to stay 1 lap down, accomplished that feat, got back on the lead lap through the lucky dog, and came home in 12th. Very, very trying day for old 7-time. Hopefully it translates into better things for them this year, because a struggling Jimmy Johnson isn't necessarily a good thing for NASCAR. And with that being said, we go into one final award. It's one we all know and love, and it goes to somebody else who we all know and love. Gentlemen, what is that award?
It's the crying towel. And oh my God, once again, it goes to
Kyle Busch!
Oh, no! Kyle!
Now we're going to reenact this a little bit to show what happened, all right? So I'm going to play the role of Brandon Jones, and Tyler's going to be Kyle Busch. So, all right. All right, to set the scene, we're coming off at Turn 4 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, sometime in the middle of the race. Oh, man, it sure is good to be driving for Joe Gibbs this year. I'm just going to go side draft my teammate here down the front stretch because I feel pretty confident right now. Oh, my God, he's putting me in the wall. Why is he hitting me? Oh, my God.
You thought you could pass me, you little bitch? You know who I am. Xfinity champ of all time, Kyle Rowdy Big Dick Busch.
I'm trying to make a name for myself. I don't know why you gotta rough me up. I'm your teammate. You should be helping me. Oh my God, what's that coming out the window? Am I number 1?
Actually, no, you're not. Fuck you. This is my house, my series. I don't give a shit if I'm running like shit. Don't pass me again.
Kyle, no!
Oh, Kyle. He getting beat by Xfinity regulars. He finished 14th. Oh, that was such a trying race for Kyle. What is he going to do to get over it? He couldn't complete the weekend sweep. The Xfinity race got in the way. Man,
it was hilarious, though, how salty he was getting. I mean, he was getting depressed that Ross Chastain was beating him off pit road, and he was around Michael Annett. Like, that is the funniest thing I've heard all week.
I mean, Brandon Jones is so mean for actually racing? How awful!
Big crybaby!
You big interstate batteries, ignorant dick!
You salty zebra son of a bitch!
You atrocious almond asshole!
Sour Skittles son of a bitch! Oh, Kyle, enjoy your first crying towel of the year, bitch!
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 Great reenactment. Well, for the second week in a row, we really don't have best paint schemes of the week, but there was one that stood out in particular. Casey Kane's WRL Chevy. Whoa!
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 Now that that's done, let's talk about some shitty paint schemes. It's the worst paint schemes of the week. We got 3 of them. First up, this one, don't call it bad. It's just more of a disappointment. You ever have that conversation? I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That goes to Daniel Suarez's Coca-Cola car. Out of nowhere, Coca-Cola on a car again. Holy shit. Hello, nice to see you. It was just a plain red car with a Coke swoosh on the side. How creative. Even his helmet was more detailed and had a design. This car basically looks like they went into the meeting room and they're like, oh wow, Stanley isn't on the car this week, neither is Eris, we need a sponsor. Coke is the sponsor this week, you got 10 minutes. And then old Jimmy in the back, you know, he's working hard in his internship this summer, and he's like, all right, I got this, guys. You need a scheme? I'm your man. 10 minutes, Coca-Cola in white, on the sides, on the hood, red, swoosh, done. Cut your
Please,
bullshit.
I did so much better on my Coke paint scheme that I made in NASCAR 15.
That's because you put effort into it.
Yeah, I mean, does it hurt to put bubbles on the side? And maybe, you know, taste the feeling instead of just Coke above the fenders there?
I could really
That
taste
would have
that
worked out so much better.
Taste the feeling, guys, of the piss in your ficus.
Ficus!
Oh, but we're not done. We've got worse.
Ryan Blaney's Pennzoil / Menards number 12 Ford. This scheme is close to being good. I like the little swoosh with the gradient and the yellow. The problem is there's 2 different kinds of yellow. There's a bright neon yellow for the number, and it's cool by itself, but when you got it next to the Pennzoil yellow, or even Menards yellow on the, maybe that's what it was Menards yellow on the number, and Pennzoil yellow on the base paint scheme, but it doesn't work together. It's too much different kinds of yellow. It's confusing. And then, you know, in addition to that, it's the combo sponsor thing, and we'll talk about that in the next paint scheme too, but it usually doesn't work. It's too much, guys. Oh my god. Kane?
Yep, speaking of combo cars, the next one is Jamie McMurray's Cessna DC Solar Chevy. Oh, I mean, this is not the first time that Ganassi has done this with Jamie, alright? He did it with him last year in 2016, and now they're doing it again for the 3rd fucking year in a row. Oh, actually, no, this is the 4th year in a row. They did it in 15 as well. God, man, I mean, this half and half bullcrap, it just doesn't work. The scheme looks like ass. And to make it worse, that linebacker style number 1, I think Tyler was the one that mentioned this, give credit to him. He said every one of McMurray's paint schemes would look so much better if it had the old DEI style number 1 on the side, the one that slanted towards the front of the car, just like it did on Steve Park's Pennzoil car from all those years ago. It just does. Gosh, that scheme is making me so sick right now. God damn it.
Are you
Jamie.
ill?
Are you ill?
Oh, I'm ill. I'm ill. I am so ill. This car makes me so freaking ill. Oh, as do all of Jamie's half and half combo cars. Ugh.
That was good. Okay, let's recap the fantasy results from Las Vegas. Kane bangs out a fantasy win after picking Kyle Larson, who finished in 3rd place and got him 50 points. Nick comes home in 2nd after picking Martin Truex Jr., who finished 4th and got 46 points. Damani in 3rd, picking Kyle Busch, who finished the best of the bunch but only got 43 points. And I round out the rear with Brad Keselowski, who finished 6th and got me 41 points. So we were all very close this week. One of the tightest battles we've ever had in fantasy. So that's pretty cute. But that means we'll move on to Phoenix. That's right, it's still Phoenix, not Ism Raceway. Let's just be real, okay? So I'm first for Phoenix, and I'm going to pick Kevin Harvick.
You motherfucker, you!
I picked him 2 weeks ago, and it worked. He's won a lot at Phoenix. Enough said. Tamani, who are you picking? Larson? Nick, you're up next. Who's your pick for Phoenix?
Okay, this might be a bit of a gamble because he hasn't won yet in Cup, but I'm going to go with Eric Jones.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
He has always been good at Phoenix, whether it's trucks or Xfinity, and now hopefully Cup. And you can't forget that Kenseth won with his team for his final race back in the fall here. So yeah, Eric Jones, I mean, he was strong at Vegas, got himself a top 10. I think he can keep it going. Kane.
Well, I'm going with another guy who's a former winner at Phoenix and has had some pretty strong runs there as of late. That is Kyle Dickbag Busch.
Fuck you, you fucking whore.
Oh boy, I mean, he's been having some strong runs lately. I think he finally breaks through for that dreaded first win of the year that I'm sure none of us are looking forward to. But hey, it's fantasy, so anything can happen. So Kyle Busch is my pick.
Well, that wraps up yet again another episode of Behind the Wall. We appreciate you listening. So, for Damani HD, he's involved somehow. For Kane Jr. 88, I was right. I predicted it. He did take over the role as Mr. Sick, and he was ill this week, very shortly after Thermite. They were kind of sick together. And Thermite 917, he went over to his house, coughed in his face. What a dick. And then he just left. Like, just no warning. Weird people, I tell you what. You got to be on the lookout for
Sorry,
them.
Kane.
And for myself, Pro Bowl 43. This has been Behind the Wall, presented by Perky Jerky. You've been behind the wall, and thank you for listening. Fucking Harvick kicks your ass and fucks your girl.
Fucking hooah.
Fucking hooah.
But damn, Willie, man, I thought you... a lot of people thought you'd be better than this, man. And that's not your fault. I can't blame you, but...
God damn. You spit all over that award.
Shit.
Okay. Who's tapping?
It's me. I'm trying to get my dog up on my bed. He likes to sleep up here.
Holy cow. You must be freaking crazy.
You must be freaking crazy.
So who's freaking crazy? Hendrick?
You!
Well,
Oh. Yeah, I must be. Give me the straight jacket, damn it. I'm just
Your
kidding.
belly!
your belly,
It's your belly.
your beard.
Your beard!
My beard's still not as impressive as Jeffrey Earnhardt's, though.
You should have
Jeffrey
compared them when he was at the tweet up at Chicagoland.
I should have, yes.
They rubbed your beards together.
Oh, God.
I would have been
Wow.
awkward as hell. Security would have been all over me if that had happened. Yeah.
They would have been rubbing their beards up against you, too.
Hell yeah. That would have been awkward as
okay.
hell.
You guys want to touch tips?
Look.
Oh my God! It's the crying towel.
Oh.
And
Go ahead.
hold on, now you've ruined everything. I thought you were gonna pick it up.
No. So, somebody else take it away if we have another one.
Yeah, Ryan
we-
Blaney. Oh my God! I was trying to hurry up and jump in there before he did. I'm doing it anyway.
You got to be on the lookout for
Sorry,
them.
Kane.
And
Yeah,
for
I'm sure you are.
God damn it, Kane.
You motherfucker, you!